Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Merry Christmas to all. It's almost that time of night, but not just yet. Up next in our influencer segment, brought to you by Navé, we are joined by the beautiful fitness influencer Ashley Wilke. After modeling for 10 years, she transitioned to fitness professional and made her mark as a trainer and expert. She went on to own an online health and fitness coaching business where she helps women regain their confidence through a compassionate vegan lifestyle. She uses her social media platforms to promote a kinder, healthier, more compassionate world while residing in Arizona with her husband and her rescued fur babies. I love it. Today, we're chatting how to keep a simple exercise routine while traveling, as access to gyms and workout facilities may not be available or even closed for some of the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Today, we're also going to talk about tips for how to eat healthy while traveling to maintain your fitness goals. When you're working towards a fitness goal, traveling can throw a wrench into your progress and habit of eating healthy. You might have less control over what food you have access to and less time to train. If you've gone long days in transit, you're more sedentary than usual. New and different foods in different locations, coupled with traveling, can be a recipe for stress. So I like to follow the 80-20 rule, basically sticking closely to the plan 80% of the time. Helps me stay flexible and actually get to enjoy unexpected changes to my regular eating habits. Welcoming now to the show is the beautiful Ashley Wilke. Welcome, beautiful.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas Eve. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you on. This is a great time for you to be chatting because guess what? Probably most things are closed when it comes to gym facilities and workout centers. So let's get to it. Assuming we zoom out and look at overall lifestyle before one's trip, because one's fitness goals may be as different as maintaining muscle, building muscle, or fat loss. And so eating healthy looks different for everyone. And when traveling, I think of eating healthy, like I said, to roughly, sticking to my routine. So, I don't want to go crazy, but I go in with a plan for substitution, but I kind of stay, flexible to maintain my long-term eating habits. What do you recommend, Ashley?
Absolutely. I think it's so important. I love that you said that 80-20, it's the holidays. So ultimately, we do want to be able to celebrate and enjoy a little bit, right? But at the end of the day, we've been working so hard the entire year to really get healthy, work towards our goals. So important to make sure that you have a plan of action, especially when you're traveling. So I always recommend bringing some meals with you, some protein shakes, some fruit, some nuts, especially if we're going to be flying. A lot of times airports are not our best friend when it comes to healthy foods. And then also making sure that you have a plan for your workouts. So like you mentioned, the gyms may be closed, but that's totally fine. Make sure that you have a plan so that you can get those workouts in at your hotel room, at your parents' house, outdoors, getting in some nice activity and walks, just making sure you're really staying active. Even if it's not necessarily going to the gym, that doesn't mean that there's an excuse there not to get in any activity.
That's exactly right. So the bottom line is to not stay sedentary, to keep moving and
Yes.
to not let that as be an excuse. But if one should bring three easy to travel with workout items, what should they be? They kind of, you want them to fit in a travel case. You don't want them to be too heavy. What are your recommendations on that?
Absolutely. So I grabbed them here. So the first thing is our little booty band. We all love these. They're so easy, foldable, working at those booties, our legs, really great. And then we also have the longer bands, right? So we have these, they're great. We can do arm workouts, back workouts. And then this is my favorite thing here. This is a little mini foam roller. Now, what I love about the foam roller, especially when you've been traveling all day, is it's really great for breaking up any tension or knots in our body. So it not only aids in any sort of recovery from workouts, but when we've been sedentary on planes or driving in the car, it really helps us to just kind of release any tension that we might have and prevent any sort of stiffness and soreness.
I love it. Look at how compact and organized you are.
So
I,
easy.
I feel like it belongs in your own personalized little pink case.
Exactly. It's my travel tote right there.
That's right. By Ashley Wilke. All right, let's
That's
chat.
right.
Let's chat hotel room hacks. So,
Yes.
so I always, find out. I always say find out if you're going to have access to a kitchen or even a small refrigerator, I always typically like to find out the situation in advance. But believe it or not, if they don't have one, I always ask management to make sure, without a doubt, that my hotel room has not just a mini fridge, but something slightly bigger with a little bit of a freezer capacity, because I travel with my daughter and a dog, and it's not, sometimes, like you said, you have to come with pre-packed food.
Mhm.
So I always check out the scope out the situation in advance. But back to your what to bring, I bring protein rich snacks, right? Fresh
Yes.
fruits and veggies, or even pre-made smoothies to store in the fridge. And then if they don't have a fridge, I was like a mom, no problem. I just bring non-perishable items. And you made some great references, protein bars and nuts to supplement, the rest of your day when you may have had less control over what you're eating. And in the case that it's not feasible to pack these things, well, I always like to check out and see, are there any local grocery stores nearby? And I always check out my apps. You have tons of apps on your phone that can access even a delivery to the hotel room. So I always try to really think it through. But let's chat macronutrients. Okay, so
Yes.
this is a big one. Macronutrients, so protein, carbs, and fats. So when
Yes.
traveling, if you're going to be eating out more, you can assume you'll be getting some more fats than usual from the
Mhm.
oil and butter used to prepare foods.
And carbs,
Right.
definitely.
So what is and carbs? So what is the rule of thumb for how many macronutrients one may need per day?
Yeah, so honestly, that really does kind of depend on what your goals are. Typically, we want to get about 1 pound of, or I should say, 1 pound of protein is going to equate to 1 pound of our body weight. I'm sorry, 1 gram of protein. Hello, 1 gram of protein to 1 pound of our body weight. So, really, really focusing on that protein. And then, honestly, when we're traveling, I wouldn't stress too much necessarily about those carbs and those fats, as long as we're sticking within our healthy calorie range and really focusing on keeping that protein. We're not really going to notice any like crazy, like drastic falling off or anything. Our body's going to stay in tip top shape as long as we're really focusing on getting that protein and again, staying nice and active.
Nice. Okay, so what you said is about 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And then
Yes.
also, interestingly, it's about 5 to 8 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight. And I think it's about zero point 0.5 to 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight. So there we have the chart. But Ashley, let's move on to pack extra protein, like literally. So
Yes.
when you're on the go, you might not have that same kind of access to food. We've been talking about this is number one stickler most people complain about. So helpful snacks like these protein bars and high quality, even jerky. I don't like to say that, but high quality jerky can come in handy to supplement the rest of what you're eating when you're traveling. But your body may react differently if you're not used to eating processed foods. So I always stay aware of how I'm feeling and keep up my water intake. Right, definitely
Water, for
hydrate.
sure.
So what
Yes.
are what are some of the higher protein foods we should be looking at on the go when traveling, and what kind of hydration do we need? More, less, the same?
Absolutely. So hydration is always going to be key. I think something that many of us don't realize, especially when we're traveling, is when we're flying, that actually really dehydrates our body. So I know a lot of us, we don't want to maybe be getting up and running to the restroom during a long flight, but so important to stay nice and hydrated when you're flying. And then also as you're in a different situation, right? It's super normal for our body, our digestive system to kind of play with us a little bit. So really focusing on staying extra hydrated. And then the easiest way to get protein for a low calorie diet or lifestyle is really just that protein powder. And the best part about that is it's so easy to pack. I really, literally all I do is I do my scoops, put them in little Ziploc bags and throw them in. And then you can just add water or, like you said, get that delivery of your milk, your plant milk, whatever works for you. And focusing on making sure that we're having at least one high protein meal is really going to help us, right? And the high protein shake is also another great option, again, because it's low in calories. So that saves us some extra calories if we know that we're going to be eating a little bit naughty and enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And now I know you practice a vegan lifestyle. So
Mhm.
this all sounds very convenient if you pretty much eat everything, right? You can
Yes.
get to But what happens when you are vegan? Like, what now? Because most of the stuff that would be or could be available to you, if you're traveling to these locations and you even ask for almond milk or or you say I'm vegan, they look at you like you have a fourth eye, right? And also, so address that. And then very quickly, I've already messed up this airplane thing or already messed this up. Why? Because the first thing I do when I get on a flight is, can I get a glass of wine, please?
Yeah.
So now what? Now I need like that. I need for every glass of wine, I'm
Yes,
gonna
you
need
have your
like
glass of wine and
two
then your glass
glasses
of
of
water.
water.
Exactly. Now you know.
Oh boy.
But yes, it's no lie that it may be a little bit more challenging when you're vegan or practicing a plant-based lifestyle. It again really comes down to just making sure that you're planning ahead, packing those foods. But on the flip side, and an amazing thing for the vegan community is we are just growing by leaps and bounds. So things like jerky, they now have vegan jerky, and I actually got that the other day at the airport. So you maybe have to just put on your magnifying glass and your detective skills and look a little bit harder, but there's definitely options out there. I always say where there's a will, there's a way. So, if you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And especially I know at least moms and women who are very organized and can do this effectively in planning out their meals or planning out their days or knowing what to bring and what not to bring. I became an expert. I mean, I could have sustained myself, my daughter, who at the time when I was traveling with her in a Bjorn, she was like 3 or 4, and the dog on just the food I had in my
Yes.
travel. And I would go through security and they'd be like, is that frozen turkey? And I was like, yep, it's cooked, but it's frozen, but it's cooked. And they're like, okay,
Yeah.
if it's cooked, you can take it through. But like, I had a lot of explaining to do. Like,
Mhm.
why do you have like layers and layers of frozen little thin breasts? And I was like, it's for the dog. Okay. It's for the dog. They're like, sure it is. But yes, I mean, like it became a planning thing and having
Yes.
the freezer bags and sucking the air out of those, you can find those online where you really kind of ziplock them right. But listen, we are out of time. It was so fun chatting with you on this
You
Christmas
too.
Eve.
Thank you.
You are amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
That was our influencer segment brought to you by Navé. Definitely check out the amazing Ashley Wilke. Head directly to her website, ashley.wilkefit.com. And you can find her all over the gram at Ashley Wilke. Remember, there's an E at the end of her name. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.